Hi everyone, I'm Sharon and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be creating a standard A2 size card featuring a positively sparkling rainbow emerging from behind a cheerful smiling sun sitting amongst the fluffy blue clouds. Let's begin with a quick overview of the Fawn products that I will be using to create this card. A full list of supplies can be found in the description box below. The two main images for this card come from the outside-in stitched sun and rainbow die sets. I use the cute unicorn's eyes with the eyelashes from the tiny gift box unicorn and horse add-on die set and the smile from the Narwhal and Friends die set. I use two puffy cloud borders as well as the cloudy stencil. For the sentiment strips, I use Sending Sunshine and Smiles from All the Clouds stamp set, the Everyday Sentiment banners, and Black Licorice cardstock from the Rainbow Pack 100-pound heavyweight cardstock. To begin making this card, I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock piece and use Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide to ink blend some light fluffy clouds. I start by placing my brush on the stencil and blend my way out onto the paper. This helps to prevent inky blotches and allows for an overall smoother blend. I turn my stencil around 90 degrees so that I get a variation of cloudy shapes and sizes. Now I smush some Mermaid Lagoon onto my work surface, spray a little water, and use a paintbrush to splatter some ink on for some added interest and color contrast to the Salvaged Patina sky. I am going to die cut this panel in two different places. First, I use the border with the smaller puffs and die cut about 1/4 of the way up from the bottom of the panel. Then I use the border with the largest puffs to die cut the panel again at the midway point. For now, I will place these two pieces aside. Here's a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece of cardstock cut from some Staples 100-pound cardstock. I am going to score and fold the cardstock at the 4 1/4 midway mark on the 8 1/2 inch side. To avoid confusion, I'm going to call the front of the card the front panel and the inside of the card the inside panel. I have the card opened up and line up a puffy cloud border at the very top edge of the inside panel. I want to line it up to the very top edge of the inside panel because I want my card to be a standard A2 size card. I use a piece of low-tack washi tape to hold the border down and run it through my die cut machine. As you can see, the top edge of the inside panel now has this lovely puffy cloud stitched detail. And now I'm going to place the same puffy cloud border 1/3 of the way down from the front panel. Now it's really important to remember to have the card completely open before running it through the die cutting machine. Otherwise, both panels will be die cut and you don't want that. Once again, I trim off the hanging piece of cardstock, and now I have my card base with the beautiful cloudy stitching at the top instead of a straight edge. Next, I ink blend 2 rows of clouds under each edge and splatter some Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide as I did with the panel from earlier. Here are all of the die cut pieces for my card. I end up using the closed eyes from the tiny gift box unicorn and horse add-on, which I don't have on screen here. I ink blend the center of the sun using some spiced Marmalade Distress Oxide. I really like this bright bold orange. For contrast, I use squeezed Lemonade Distress Oxide for the sun's rays. Here are the 7 different bright Distress Oxide colors I use to create the bows of my rainbow. I start off with the vibrant red candied apple for the largest bow. Then I move on to some picked raspberry, which is a really pretty Barbie pink. I ink blend the bold orange of the spiced marmalade. Moving on, I add the popping sharp yellow of squeezed lemonade. I like the spring freshness of this Mowed lawn green beside the turquoise blue shade of broken china. And I finish the rainbow off with the true purple of wilted violet. I use the negative space of the rainbow die cut and tape it to some cardstock to help me glue down the bows right up against each other. After adding some tape runner, I begin assembling my rainbow, beginning with the largest bow first. Then I use my snips to fussy cut out the rainbow. Next, I am going to work on my sentiment, using some VersaMark WATERMARK ink to stamp my sentiment, sending sunshine and smiles from the All the Clouds stamp set onto a strip of black licorice cardstock. I sprinkle some Ranger Superfine white embossing powder on my sentiment, shake the powder off the strip, pour the excess back into the jar, and then I melt the powder using my heat tool. You can see the sentiment turn a bright white once the powder is all melted. I line up my everyday sentiment banner and run it through my die cutting machine to create 2 sentiment strips for my card. Now for the fun part of assembling the card. First, I mark down the best placement for the 2 main images. I want the rainbow to appear as though it is emerging from behind the sun and going off the edge of the panel. My pencil markings help me adhere the rainbow in the right place and at the right angle. Next, I work on the placement of my sun. I die cut a second sun out of some scrap cardstock because I want the thickness of the sun die cut out to be level with the rainbow. You can skip this step, but I feel this gives the card a more polished look and feel. I cut out the part of the sun that overlaps with the rainbow and adhere it to the card. Now I can adhere the ink blended sun and not have to worry about the paper being uneven. Next, I use my Lawn Fawn glue tube and jewel pick to help me carefully space out and adhere the little eyes, smile, and red cheeks onto the sun. I like these closed eyes with the eyelashes from the unicorn add-on. They make it appear as though the sun is taking an afternoon nap. I add my 2 sentiment banners. The black licorice cardstock really make the sentiment stand out against this colorful card. I cut off the excess paper, and for the finishing touch, I add Stickles crystal glitter glue to the red cheeks and on the 7 bows of the rainbow. I ink blend some more puffy clouds on the bottom of the inside panel, and this white area in the middle is a perfect place to handwrite a personal sentiment. Here is another look at my finished card. The use of both the puffy cloud borders, die, and the cloudy stencil create a lot of texture and the illusion of movement in the clouds. I have a positively sparkling rainbow emerging from behind a cheerful smiling sun amongst the fluffy blue clouds. This card is simple, colorful, and uplifting in its images and sentiment. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I hope that you will join me again next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.